Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's a great honor to be standing here again. Over 160 years ago, during what would become his final days in office, President Abraham Lincoln addressed this nation, and he said, "Let us strive on to finish the work we're in, to bind up the nation's wounds, to care for him who shall have borne the battle." My fellow Americans, First Lady, Vice President Harris, and Second Gentleman, Secretary Blinken, Austin, McDonough, Mayorkas, Chairman Brown, most importantly, our veterans, service members, and their families. I've said it many times before. I got in trouble for saying it when I was a young senator. I said, we have many obligations.
We have many obligations. We have many obligations. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Franchise Pearson, and welcome again to my channel. November 19th of 2024, Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Let's say it together. Praise our God from whom our blessings flow. This was Joe Biden last week. Remarks at the Veterans Day. Yeah, how time flies. That's a play on words because you know what Joe did a few days ago? He let something fly. And as we speak, there's probably something flying in the air right about now. How could you? How could you? I chose this video because of what he said at the end. Listen.
Our veterans, service members, and their families. I've said it many times before. I got in trouble for saying it when I was a young senator. I said, we have many obligations.
We have many obligations. Now, it talks about we the people, right? We the people. It also talks about we hold these truths to be self-evident, right? We pledge allegiance to the flag. What is this man's obligation to us? Or has it never been? That is, has it all been just words? As he stands there, as he stood there on Veterans Day, and he looked out amongst the crowd, he spoke to him with many dignitaries and former soldiers flanked around him. I wonder if anyone asked that question. What are his current obligations? There are a lot of photographs out there and videos showing hands that the puppeteer, the puppet masters, those who pull the strings, those are the ones who are making Joe act the way he acts, that he's not his own man, he's not his own president, he's certainly not for us. So again, what are his obligations to us, especially in during these times, and especially just before the transition? Let's look at some numbers. Sometimes I go off the beaten path. Joe made a decision. I guess you can call it a strategic decision the other day. I believe it was the 17th. And when you think about the inauguration coming up, how does that, wow. 64 days left. He made that decision. Or they made that decision. You know, somebody wrote a book back in the day that war is a racket. War is a racket. There have been other books written similar, and there will be books written in the future. I'm waiting on the book to come out with the big giant letters, WHY, with maybe 10 question marks that follow it, of why. Why would Joe Biden do what he did a few days ago? And less than a week, arguably after Memorial Day, Veterans Day. Why would he do this after Veterans Day? Why would he, would it be right to say open old wounds and create new ones? You know, people, when I woke up this morning, I was going to do a certain video, but I thought about guidelines, so I want to spin it off a different way, because there's some similarities between immigration and wars. Immigration and wars. And what are we really fighting for? Immigrants leave from lands. They leave their culture. They leave their history. They leave their parents and their grandparents who are in the graveyard, their churches, their customs. They're forced out. They're flushed out. Does war not do the same? Hundreds of thousands, maybe millions, since Joe Biden has taken office, between the wars and immigration. He has got to be the #1 flush out president of all time. Of all time, at least in my lifetime. I don't even want to do the painful research, because this guy takes the cake in so many areas. I asked, what is his obligation? What was his obligation to us when he stood there on January 20th? Back in the day, 2021. And he put his hand on that Bible and his right hand over his heart. Or was it his left hand over his heart, his right hand up? As above, so below. Whatever it was, he went through the formality. Did he take an oath of obligation to us? Or was his lips just moving, knowing allegedly he was in full service of the one world system? I've shown many clips. You can go back and Google it. All the major female dignitaries at that time had on a shade of purple. Barack Obama's wife, Hillary Clinton, George Bush Jr.'s wife, and soon to be sworn in Vice President Kamala Harris. Deloitte, the poet, had on a red tam with a yellow coat, matching the sun god Ra. And Lady Gaga had on red and black with that Phoenician bird, or that bird that Noah sent out with a wreath in his mouth. But she had on red and black, which means destruction. And I have titled this man as a destroyer. Was it and is it his obligation to destroy? And that purple that the ladies adorned, it matched the purple of the Phoenicians, those who went out and ravaged countries, killing babies. The more younger the child, the more pure the blood and sacrifice to the gods of Moloch Baal. They were seamen. That's what the Phoenicians were. They went out to the sea and they hunted for shells or clams, and in that was a purple dye, So purple was for royalty only. And is it coincidence that when this man swore to protect us, both foreign and domestic, that those ladies had on purple? Is he walking in the shadow of the Phoenicians? His obligation, his oath to we the people, has it soured? In your mind, has he fulfilled his obligation? Because I would say, between immigration and the wars, hear me, between immigration and the wars, we're going to have to watch our back for at least maybe 2 generations, if we get there. Because you have made enemies. I know that much in war. And you're making enemies here because you didn't do a great job on immigration. Throwing them around like sheep. In Chicago, they slept in police stations. Can you imagine living in a police station or outside on the sidewalk on concrete in a tent? You're glad to be over here, but the conditions that you're in are crazy. Yet right now, a lot of them are living sweet. And yet right now, a lot of them, if Trump has his way, they're going to go back. He did that. In my humble opinion, it was a crying shame that he was allowed to even speak on Veterans Day. I'm just going to keep it real. Tell me how you feel if you're a combat soldier. I think it was a slap in the face that he was allowed to speak that day. Because the war is on our shores when you bring over people undocumented, especially X amount of thousand who have criminal records. He should not have been invited. And if he did get through and begin to speak, everybody on that stage and everybody in the audience should have walked away and left him there with that microphone, Al Capone. At some point, we got to start taking a stance. The hell with tradition. They're not faithful to us, so why are we faithful in tradition to them? The next time he speaks, walk, run, hide. He's not worthy of adoration or respect. He's not worthy because he has broken the law. He swore on this Bible, he swore that he would protect us. And after he's long gone, ask yourself, do you feel safe? Donald Trump would have never had to deal with this foolishness, but he done left us a literal hell on earth with immigration and these wars. We got to watch our back. There's no major skyscraper in America that's safe. I'm going to keep it real in America. That would have sent a message to him. You give peace a chance. Lady Gaga, Red and Black, Inauguration Day. I want you to look at this. She's smiling. She's standing proud. He reaches for her. But she has no idea what's coming. Or did she? Peace on earth, goodwill to all men in a very short period of time. We will sing and praise and give honor to our Lord Jesus Christ. And as we claps our hands to pray and kneel and bow our head, many of us will keep an eye open because we have this fear that this bird that's out there, let loose by this man, who in time has disrespected us. We're going to have to pay that price, people. The reality is that you don't go open up Pandora's box. You don't go barking up trees. You don't go starting fights. You don't go breaking laws. God has placed somewhere in the universe a yin and a yang, a reap what you sow, a counterpart to your foolishness. And after he pivots and walks up out of there, January 20th, if he make it. That is, if he don't just take one for the team like I've been hinting at. Fake like he done gone to see tomorrow. You remember this video that every time we had an opportunity, we should have protested. See, sometimes you don't need a big crowd to do what you got to do. Every time he speaks going forward, y'all should walk. Y'all should send a clear message. Because the address on those bombs, whether it's Washington, D.C., Alabama, Chicago, New York, that address is from the United States. Guess what? The mail carrier at some point gonna send it back and say return to sender.
Sergei Oleshkov is believed to be one of the youngest soldiers to have fought in World War II. He was born in 1932 in the Soviet Union. He was only 6 years old when his parents were killed during the German occupation of their town, and he was left to fend for himself. He was later discovered by a reconnaissance group of the 142nd Guards Rifle Regiment. The soldiers decided to keep him in the regiment, and he was even officially adopted by the regiment's commander, Mikhail Vorobyov. The regiment was transferred to Stalingrad in 1942. Here the little soldier performed a heroic action for which he was awarded the For Combat Merit Medal. During artillery shelling, his adoptive father was buried under debris in a dugout. The boy tried to dig him out on his own, but he failed. Then he ran to find some sappers. Mikhail Vorobyov was saved, albeit shell-shocked and wounded.
So upset that the things we did, the things we fought for, and the boys that died for us, it's all gone down the drain. Our country's gone to hell. We haven't got the country we had when I was raised. Not at all. Nobody will have the fun I had. Nobody will have the opportunity I had. That's not what I wanted. That's not what they got. My experience, I am the only one left out of all those guys I was with. They've all gone on. This can't last forever. In less than 2 months, I'm going to be 101. I don't have an ache or a pain in my body. I'm blessed. I truly am blessed. The craziest thing is, I'm sitting here talking to you about my experience. I am the only one left out of all those guys I was with. They've all...
World War I, World War II. This date, September 1st, 1939, September 2nd, 1945. When you take September 1, 1939, subtract it from the day that Joe made his decision on 11/17 of 2024, the difference is 44, 46. Come on, man. I've long asked God why he gave me my gift. It's taken me a long time to figure it out. One reason is he showed me to take history and connect it to the future, so you can see the present. He's shown me how to take history, connect it to the future, and understand the present. And then do a video and serve it up as a president. What are the odds that 44, 46 would come out in weeks? And that's World War II. You know who the 44th president is. And you know Joe Biden is the 46th president. Like I said, this bird, when he comes back, his wings might be frailed and clipped. 44 is just a system of things, and Barack Obama just happened to be the 44th president. He had to fit like glove into a hand to match the system that's been in place. But the 46 in gematria, what does it mean? Let's look. Let's break this thing down where we can all understand it. It's called chaos. .46 is chaos. And like 5 years ago, it meant blank 19. And 46, what else does it have in common? JFK, George Floyd, George Orwell, and Beau Biden, Biden's son. They all became unalive at 46. What a number. Is this coincidence or is this number speaking to us? 44, 46. Then look at this. World War I. Your dates: July 28, 1914, November 11, 1918. You take 9/11 of 2001, what happened in New York, versus July 28th, 1914. July 28th, 1914. The difference is 45, 46. Just want to scream again, don't you? Come on, man. The 45th president of the past was the one who's about to be 47. And we know who 46 is. Could this repeat under him? Oh, it's deep. Could this repeat under him? Because he's handing us hell. Number 46, Joe Biden, is handing us some hell. So when you look at World War I, that date, July 28th, That's when it started. July 28th. Interesting, isn't it? The start date and the start date of New York when it was hit, the Twin Towers. History sometimes speaks. I don't want it to happen, but I just laid it out for you. Joe Biden has put us in a precarious situation. We got too many enemies right about now. Trump will need our prayers. 45. He's handed. Number 46 is handed, arguably 45, a 9/11. My humble opinion. Then look at this. Hamas hit Israel on October 7th, 2023 versus Trump's next birthday, 6/14 of 2025. The difference is 88 weeks. And Trump's number, that is his text number, is 88022. You think history is throwing us a coincidence? Speaking to the future. Wow. It's Donald Trump's birthday. There's your receipts. Let's end with this.
The difference between the Vietnam era vet and one of the big ones and the World War II guys, they all did the same thing combat-wise, and they all had the same mentality. But the difference is that when they came back, they came back on ships. They had about a month or 3 weeks or whatever it was coming back from Germany or whatever theater they were in, that they were with their buddies and the guys they went over and fought with, and they had the chance to debrief and talk about, you know, their experiences and move through some of that stuff with people that actually understood what the hell they'd been through. Vietnam wasn't like that. I came back by myself, you know, along with a bunch of other guys that I didn't know, you know, they just happened to be rotating back at that time from various parts. Some of them were in Saigon. They were all over Vietnam. We had hundreds of thousands of troops there at that time. You know, I came back, you know, with nobody really to talk to about it or share about it, and nobody in the States understood it. They just didn't understand what it was like to kill people. It's not a good thing.
We got to talk to him. I wouldn't invite him to any speaking engagements. And anybody that attends it should walk away and send a message. You know, I'm thinking about this football player back in the day. What was his name? Tillman. Soldier Tillman, former football player. Thank God for memories. Let's dedicate this to this man and his family. You guys probably remember him. I forgot what football team he played for, but I just thought about it. Gave up his football career for a while to go and serve. He died controversially on the battlefield. I'm assuming that's the date, 4/22/2004. Rest in peace, soldier. God bless you. Thank you for your service. NFL star to Army Ranger, Pat Tillman. And God bless all the soldiers. Prayerfully, we get better leadership who gives us a better obligation. God bless America. Don't forget, I have another site. Please subscribe. It's titled Friend Shots Gift. The goal is 1,000 subscribers. Just go there and subscribe. I'll put it in the description. Also, if you can help me out, I appreciate it. I have Venmo, Zelle, Cash App. I also have a P.O. Box. It's hard to get 2.5 to 3,000 views because the actual, you guys aren't getting notifications. The bulk of you all aren't. It makes no sense to have almost 24,000 subscribers and only maybe a tenth of the people get notifications. So please look for the videos every day. I'm a patriot for the country and a patriot for the Lord. Remember, God loves you. Keep the faith and keep your family strong. And thank you for everyone who has given a gift. If you can. If you can't, just pray for me and I'll pray for you. God bless America.